What's up everyone out there in internet land? This is Dave LeClaire with MakeUseOf.com, and today we are here to take a look at Nintendo's new 3DS. This is the latest in a long line of DS consoles and an even longer line of Nintendo handhelds, and it comes with some pretty cool new stuff. First of all, you get eye tracking 3D, so as you're looking at the console, if you kind of avert your vision, the 3D will follow you. You also get a new second joystick, which Nintendo calls the C-Stick, which you might remember from back in the days of the GameCube. This allows you to move the camera and other things in games that require two joysticks, something you couldn't do without the Circle Pad Pro attachment on the original 3DS. And it also has a bigger screen than the actual 3DS, same size as the original 3DS XL. There's some other changes which we're going to take a look at in this review, so keep watching and you will find out, is this new 3DS worth getting or should you stick with the one you have? So the first big new feature of the new 3DS is the eye tracking 3D. Basically what that does is it adds a small camera to the front of the console that will see your face, and when you're using the system, if you kind of move and you look off to a different direction, you kind of veer off to the left or to the right, the 3D will continue working. One of the major problems with the original 3DS was that the 3D wasn't great unless you were looking directly at it. If you move the console off a little bit, the 3D looked broken, the images just looked blurry, and it ended up making it so a lot of people just didn't use the 3D at all. With the new 3DS, that's not as much of a problem now, and I was actually a major opponent of the 3D. I never used it on my original 3DS, and while I still don't use it all the time with the new 3DS, I do use it a little bit, which is a huge step up compared to the original where I would use it once and say, yep, that sucks, and turn it off. So, if you liked the original 3DS's 3D, this will be like night and day. You will be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. You already enjoyed it, and now it is fantastic. If you didn't like it before, you might actually find that you want to use it. So it's a pretty big change, and it actually works as advertised. So Nintendo did a great job with this new feature. The new feature of the new 3DS that really puts it over the edge for me is the introduction of the C-Stick, which is Nintendo's version of a second joystick for the new 3DS. It kind of looks like one of the little nubs on an IBM keyboard, if you remember the old ThinkPads. And it functions much like that with the same degree of accuracy. Those were a device where everybody would use it and say, how could you actually navigate your keyboard like that? Then as soon as you try it, you're like, huh, it actually works. It's the same with this. It works very well. I've put over 80 hours into Monster Hunter playing with this thing, and I gotta say it works beautifully. I could not imagine going back to Monster Hunter on an original 3DS. Overall, it feels really good. I would have preferred a full second joystick that is the same as a Circle Pad, but I understand for space requirements they had to get in with what they could get in, and it gets the job done. There's going to be games coming down the road that are going to use it. There aren't a ton right now, but as time goes on, you know Nintendo's going to push out some stuff that actually uses it, and it kind of opens up a whole new type of game to the 3DS. So if you want to play those kinds of games, and if you've always kind of felt like, man, I want to get into Monster Hunter, this new one looks good, but controlling it with an on-screen second joystick seems terrible, the new 3DS might be the reason to get you into it, along with games like Zelda and stuff. It is a great new feature, and it is awesome to see that Nintendo added it to the new 3DS. Some other quick improvements over the original 3DS is you'll find slightly better battery life. It's not a huge difference, but you'll be able to get a little bit more gameplay out of your device. You're going to still need to charge it after a few hours, but hey, it's a small little improvement. They also added extra buttons on the shoulder. They call them ZL and ZR. Nothing's really using them right now, and they're a little awkward to get to, but more buttons is more buttons, and it's more options for developers to use when they're making their games, so it's hard to complain about that. There is a couple negatives about the new 3DS, but they're relatively minor. First, Nintendo did away with the wireless switch, so if you want to turn your internet on and off, depending on where you are, you have to go into the settings. It's a quick thing. Go to the home screen, you click a button, scroll down, boom, it's right there. Not a big deal, but it is something to keep in mind. Additionally, Nintendo switched to a micro SD card from an original SD card. This means you can't just take your SD card from your original 3DS and swap it into the new one. You have to go through their very long and slow transfer process. It also hid it in the back, which means now you have to unscrew these screws, pry this off if you want to change the SD card and upgrade to a bigger one or take yours out for whatever reason. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but the weirdest decision that Nintendo made with the new 3DS is that they didn't include a power cable. So if you are not upgrading from an original 3DS or even a DSi, if you have one of those lying around, you're going to have to buy a charger separately. So you bring this thing, you can see a kid on Christmas, you bring this thing home, you play it, you run out of battery and you realize, wait a second, there's no charger in my box. It's kind of a stupid choice that Nintendo made. I understand they want to cut costs to get this thing down to the $200 range, but Find me another electronic device that doesn't include a charger in the box. You're not going to go to the cell phone store and buy a phone and not get a charger. It just seems weird for Nintendo to make that choice, but these are minor gripes, and all the other positives of the console far outweigh those, but they're definitely things to keep in mind before you run out and purchase one. All in all, the new 3DS is a fantastic piece of gaming hardware. If you own an original 3DS and these new features sound like something that you will be attracted to, you should absolutely run out and purchase one. And if you haven't purchased a 3DS yet, you should run out and buy this thing right this minute, because there is a giant library of games for you to play out there. Even ones that don't use the new features will still benefit from the improved 3D. It is a great handheld. Nintendo really knocked it out of the park with this one. Omitting a charger from the box is kind of a weird choice, and if it's your first 3DS, you will have to keep that in mind. But still, it is an amazing device that I cannot recommend enough to anybody that wants a handheld gaming system. Once again, this is Dave LeClaire with MakeUseOf.com. Make sure to head over to the site to enter for your chance to win a new Nintendo 3DS. That's right, you can win one of these bad boys for free, because we love hooking you guys up. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any other content from Make Use Of, and we will see you guys next time.